I just pulled this. And basically, we're going to now solve quadratics. Remember, quadratics are just something to the second power. It can be something to the third power, but generally it's a quadratic. All right. So anytime you're going to solve something like this, I want someone to tell me this. All right. If I said, if I said to you, x times y equals 0, somebody tell me what's true. If x times y is equal to 0, what is true?
One of them is 0.
One of them is 0. That's how simple. All right. Can they both be 0?
Yes.
Yeah, they both could be 0. All right. X could be 0 or y could be 0, because if x is 0, it doesn't matter what y is. 0 times anything is 0, right? So this right here, and we'll just go down the page. All right. We'll do the odds here. All right. So here is where we're starting at number 1. If I said 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 4 equals 0, what? We'll let you put it in. Who can help her? Thanks. All right, wait another second for you. Okay, so now we have this product, 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 4 equals 0. So one of those products has to equal 0, right? So what everybody's going to do is they're going to just write down 2x minus 1 equals 0, and then you're going to write down 3x plus 4 equals 0. Now technically there should be an or statement in there, but I just leave that out. All right, can x be different numbers at the same time? No, x, if you say x is a number, that's x for the entire problem. All right, so basically now you just solve this, and I know everybody here just looks at that and says x is equal to what? X is equal to 1/2, or x is equal to what? Yeah, negative 4/3. X is equal to 1/2, or x is equal to negative 4/3. Everybody okay with that? All right, now, if I plug 1/2 in for x, it'd be 2 times 1/2 minus 1, 3 times 1/2 plus 4. Do you think that equals 0?
Yes.
Of course it does, because if I multiply this, that'll be 1. And then 1 minus 1 is what?
0.
And then 0 times, do I even care what's on the other side? No, because it'll be 0. Look, guys, it's that simple. All right, it's that simple. All right, so let's look at number 2. So here, we're going to write it, but then in the future, I'm just going to say, just tell me what the answer is. All right, because I want you to get used to it. So we would say what? Z minus 7 equals 0, or Z plus 2 equals 0. So Z could equal what? 7 or negative 2. 7 or negative 2. Is everybody with me? All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so we'll do one more time. 5r minus 9 equals 0. 4r minus 6 equals 0. So r is equal to what? 9 over 5, or r equals, thank you, whoever said 3 over 2. Beautiful, 3 over 2. Any objections to that? What?
So, if it's there's a negative, it'll be a positive fraction.
Well, I mean, you're just solving a two-step equation. You did that last year. You see what I'm saying? Right? You're just what? Adding 9 and then dividing by 5 because you're isolating the r.
Oh, okay.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
All right? So if I ask you to look at number 7 now, because we are brilliant, we can just say Q equals what? 3/8, or Yeah, come on, guys. I'm telling you, it's that simple. All right. Now the difference is these are already what? Factored for you. All right. So here we go. So v equals negative 1/2, or v is equal to, we can just say 4, right? Everybody happy with that? What? What do you mean?
Because like the first problem, we did the extra stuff.
Well, because now you know what I'm talking about, right? Can you do the mental math here, right? I mean, I was always annoyed. I can do that in my sleep, but why am I going to write equals 0 and then minus 5 and then divide by 10, right? That's what I'm saying. That's just mental math for us at this point. It should be. And if not, generally kids are making mistakes with just negatives or reducing a fraction or dividing by the wrong thing. You got to get that straight in your head. All right? Does everybody understand what I'm saying, right? So these, now that you understand what I'm saying, you don't have to set them equal to 0 anymore because you understand exactly what I'm saying. And if you don't understand exactly what I'm saying, you're supposed to tell me you don't understand what I'm saying, and then I can make it clear. Right? Don't be left behind on here. All right? Do not be left behind. All right? Now, the real deal. All right? Now we're solving quadratics. What's the difference between number 1 here and the previous problems? They're what?
They're like not in order.
They're not, there's a better word. They're not what? They're not factored. So if you made 100 on your last test, all of this is now just super what? Easy. Because what's the rule? You just factor, set the factors equal to 0. Now, if you were good at factoring but not great, this will help you become what? Better if you do all the problems. Right? If you do all the problems. All right? If you don't know how to factor, all right, this is an absolute nightmare. All right? It's a nightmare. All right? So, here we go. All right? Number 1, we're going down the page. Today we're probably going to do the odds, and maybe tomorrow we'll do the what? Evens. All right? So let's see what we got. So you guys should be getting brilliant, or you should be getting much better seeing things. All right? So we got 2x and x, correct? Where's the 5 going to go? On the left, because some of you guys now are mentally seeing this here. And then 1 goes over here, which creates what? Which creates the 7. And I want the 7 to be what? Positive. So this is plus, plus. So now underneath you just write x equals what?
5/2.
No.
-5/2.
And if you make too many mistakes, right? Remember, you're moving and dividing. You're moving and dividing. Now, let's say for some crazy reason you're saying, well, I don't see that very well. Then you have to write on your paper 2x plus 5 equals 0. And then you have to solve it. Does everybody agree with that? Right? Do I expect you to be able to look at that and say x equals -5/2? Yes, I do. -5/2. What? Wow, thank you. X equals -1. Everybody happy with that? All right. Oh my gosh, there's always one. All right. So, number 7. Jump down to number 7. All right. So here we go. Parentheses. Got to be careful here. 5 and 2. Y and Y. Now, I want to be negative. The right would be negative. Right, and double check yourself. 2 minus 5, -3. All right, so now be careful. So Y should equal what? -5 or
2.
Thank you. Y equals 2. Everybody's feeling good about that, right? All right, I told you, easy. 9 is easy. Ooh, 11 is a lot of fun. So let's do, why is 11 a lot of fun?
36 has a lot.
36 has a lot, and what? 24. So again, on these, listen to me now. That's just perseverance right there, right? Just got to write it down. Just got to go through. Just got to guess and check and make the smiley face. All right. Make sure you can do that one. I'm not going to do that with you. All right. That was the hard one. If you get number 11, you're in pretty good shape. All right. So what's wrong with 13?
It's like the weird one where you're trying. Oh wait, no.
Not quite. What do I have to do on 13?
It's addition.
Factor out the what?
Negative.
No.
That's
Yeah, you factor out the x minus 3. Remember, this is a bucket and this is a bucket, right? The bucket has x minus 3 in it. What's left behind? X plus 5 equals 0. So now what? X equals 3 or x equals negative 5. Now I want to say something here real quick because I should have said this earlier. The exponent determines the number of solutions. So because that's a quadratic or something to the second power, that means there's going to be how many solutions? 2. So now, when I get to something like 14, there's probably going to be how many solutions? What? 3. Why did I say 3? All right, because that's a cubic, we call it. All right, that's something to the third power. That's called the fundamental theorem of algebra. The exponent tells you the number of solutions. All right, so there are going to be 3 solutions. Your job is to find them. So how do I find them? What do we call that? Factoring by grouping. So here we go. So what's common?
X squared.
So x squared. Then, and then, beautiful. So now, x plus 1 times, beautiful. So now, x plus 1 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Does everybody agree with that? And so now, x is equal to what? Negative 1 or negative 2 or positive 2. So here's how mathematicians write it. Watch. X equals negative 1 or plus or minus 2. All right, yeah, fancy. All right, you should understand that. Plus or minus 2. All right, that way you don't have to repeat the numbers. All right, that's not hard. All right, let's have some more fun. 17, how many solutions are there?
3.
3. All right, because of the exponent. So again, we're always looking for the GCF. So what is common? So now I have x, parentheses, x squared minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. So now, how do I factor x squared minus 2x minus 24? 6 and 4. What type of 6 and what type of 4?
Negative 6.
And a positive 4. Beautiful, guys. So now, look, this is a factor. So x could equal 0, 6, or negative 4. Those are the 3 solutions. So somebody tell me, what happens, come on now, I need you to listen to me. What happens if I plug 0 in for x? Somebody tell me what's going to happen.
It's 0.
It's going to be 0. Thank you, whoever said that. What happens if I plug in 6 for x? It's going to be 0. What happens if I plug in a negative 4?
0.
Yeah, now in the past, listen to what I'm telling you. In the past, we only had one possible solution. Now we have just learned how to solve an equation with multiple solutions. All right? Again, that now puts you on a different level. All right? Because you have the ability to solve more than just x equals now. All right? Which is super important. All right? 19 again is easy. Don't forget we should do what to number 21? Factor out a what? Now, instead of factoring out a 3, what I want to teach you is we could just divide everything through by 3. Now, why is that okay? Because what's 0 divided by 3? 0. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. Does everybody agree with that? And so now, when I factor that, this is called what? X plus 2 times x plus 2. Is everybody happy with that explanation? Now, I want everybody to write down x equals negative, x equals negative 2 parentheses. A solution is called a root for whatever reason. All right, this is called a double root. All right, it's also called a what? Some books call it a 0, some books call it a root. All right, it's called a double root. All right, what does that mean? That just means the same answer occurs what? Twice. That's all that means. You don't write x equals negative 2, x equals negative 2. All right, 23. Why is 23 easy? Because, well, I wouldn't go that far, but what? No. Why is this one super easy? Tell me. Wow, Charlie's come alive. Thank you, Charlie. All right, because it is already factored. That's what you're saying. It's already factored. So you're just supposed to look at that and say, obviously, x is 0 or x equals what? 6. All right, or x equals 6. All right, moving down the page. Moving down the page. Uh-oh. 33 looks really hard. Why does 33 look really hard? Because it doesn't equal 0. So what do we do?
Divide everything through by 6.
No.
0.
What do we do?
You divide everything by 0.
No. What do we do?
We put prime.
No.
solution.
You make it set equal to 0. So if I want to set this thing equal to 0, all I do is move the 6 over. Yeah, that was brilliant, guys. That was not your best moment. 2x squared plus x what? Yeah, not plus 6. Minus 6 equals 0. Yeah, Morty, minus 6, not plus 6. All right, now, what do I do now? Now you can factor it. Say, listen to me. It must be set equal to 0 in order to factor. All right, in order to set it equal to 0, if it's not, you move everything over to one side and set it equal to 0. All right, so I'm confident you can do that. I'm confident in 35. Uh-oh, 37. All right, now please look at 37. 37 is considered difficult. All right, the reason why it's considered difficult is because you can't just say x minus 3 equals 0, x plus 8 equals 0, because right off the bat, it's not set equal to what? 0. So now, please listen to me. On this is annoying because I have to go ahead and I have to multiply this out. Now, just listen for a second. Everybody, I don't want you writing anything. I want you to listen. Look up. Look up, look up. Hey, I mean it. I want everybody to be able to look at that and just tell me what the answer is. All right, you're supposed to be able to now multiply in your head x minus 3 times x plus 8. If you can't do that, you didn't do the smiley face with me enough. All right, I want everybody to look at that and say, well, obviously x times x is what? X squared plus 5x minus 24 equals negative 30. All right, you should be able to do that. Now, if you don't know that, I'm going to show you one more time. The middle term, are these two things connected? So you're supposed to say in your head, the first one's negative 3 plus 8. Negative 3 plus 8 is our 5x. Is everybody happy with that explanation? Now, I do what? Now move the 30. So thank you again, Mr. Stauffer. X squared plus 5x what?
Plus 6.
Plus 6 equals 0. And now that factors into x plus 3, x plus 2. So x is equal to negative 3 or x equals negative 2. Now, before you say something silly, please look up on the board. All right, I'm trying to see if you're paying attention, so don't say something silly. All right, what happens if I were to take this -3 and plug it in for x? What would it equal?
Negative 30.
Yes, now you understand. It's -30. It will equal -30. Well, how do I know that? Because let's just try and see. -3 minus 3 is -6. -3 plus 8 is 5. -6 times 5 is -30. Is everybody with me? All right, if, listen to me, if I were to plug -3 into here, what would it equal?
0.
Yes.
What happened to the 24?
I added 30 to both sides.
Okay.
Do you agree with me? Right? Because -24 plus 30 would be 6.
Oh.
All right. Now, I think I'm going to wait on the word problem. How many do I have? All right. What I'll do is I'm just going to do one word problem today, and then we'll kind of let you get started and do all the odds, and then I'll do the word problems with you. But again, I want to show you how the word problems are not very hard. It's just going to be a what? Quadratic. All right. So the sum, what does sum mean to do?
Yes.
Add. We're going to add a number and its square. What is a number and its square? X
Plus x squared.
plus, thank you, x squared equals,
56.
look how easy that is, guys. There's nothing to it. All right, nothing to it whatsoever. All right, so now we have to write it as x squared plus x minus 56 equals 0. Is everybody happy with that? Right, and notice I switched it around, so it's beneficial. Right, set it equal to 0. So now we're going to factor that into what? X plus 8x minus 7, correct? So you have now two answers. X could equal what?
-8 or positive?
-8, or x could equal 7. What? Okay? Everybody good with that? Everybody good? Now listen, guys. If you are good at factoring, does everybody understand how simple this is, right? It's very simple. If you're good at factoring. All right, if you're not good at factoring, this will help you be better at factoring. All right, and some of you guys can be better. All right, you just have to practice. Have to practice. All right, does anybody have any questions? All right, now again, I'm asking you to knock out the odds. You don't have to go past 39. All right, just go down the page, straight down the page. All right, no excuses. All right, get it done.